Hello and welcome to FPL Without Borders. Welcome back again. We are in for a great video for on free hit. If you have been liking our content till now, we are cruising in our Gameweek ranks. People have gotten 400k greens. There are players or Esan and Arsalan who are cracking 100k ranks and trying to get into 50 and 30k. You can see our best ranks on the screen. If you like the content that we post, we are doing this earnestly and we've been doing this consistently. Please feel free to like and share and subscribe to our channel. After today's video, we hope you gain a lot more insight into how, when, and what to do with your free hit. And the points to note, like there are some subtle points, there are some basic points which will help you gain rank and which will help make you understand one of the strongest chips that FPL has. So let's deep dive.
Thank you for that, Puneet. Yeah, let's start with the top 10 free hit must know facts. These are some of the rules that can go misheard and unknown. And yeah, you don't want to miss out on that. So, number one, all transfers in a free hit game week are temporary. This is very obvious, but any transfers that you make after activating a free hit are part of your free hit, and your team reverts back to your original team after the game week ends. So, yeah. Number two, save transfers are not lost, so you can accumulate up to 5 free transfers. Number one, that you already know. But after playing your free hit chip, you retain your save transfers. By retain, so let's say last game week 33, you had 2 free transfers. After the free hit, you will still have 2 free transfers. You will not gain any extra transfer. So you will retain your transfers. It's an important point to note. This is true for wildcard and free hit both. Number three, no permanent price changes on free hit players. So if you gain price on a player that you got in during your free hit, the profit will not pass on to your core team value. It will only increase your team value during the free hit week, which is basically the fourth point as well, that this core squad uh, number 4 point basically is core squad price changes still apply. So let's say you are in a free hit chip week, and during your free hit, you don't have Marmoush because it's a blank game week, but your original team, your core team in game week 33 had Marmoush. So if this price changes that happen with Marmoush in your core team, that will still apply after your free hit ends. So your original team value is still changing. And lastly, like, you can gain intra game week profits. So during your free hit week, if you get in Barnes on day one and he increases price yesterday and today, that profit you can use within your game week, free hit game week total squad value, but it will not pass on to the next week.
Yeah, an important example actually, just if we go back to the previous slide on point four, is the fact that a lot of people are playing their wild cards right now and they've already played their free hit. So in case when say in 33 or 32, so when they play their free hit in 33 or 32 in this current season, if there were price changes to Arslan's example of Marmoush or say Rogers, those price would have reflected now if you're taking a wild card in game week 34. So if there were drops or rises in any of the player prices, they would get affected right now. So that's an important point to note. FPL has 4 chips as we speak this season, including the assistant manager. But right from the for quite some time now, there's been only one free hit chip that you can play every season, barring the COVID season, like you can see on the screen, because this was only possible because the COVID season had to be broken up, and then there was like a gap between the season itself. So hence they had allowed two, but otherwise you would only get one. Important point to notice, it can be played anytime during the game week, and people typically play that during like a double game week or a blank game week where you have certain players who you otherwise won't be able to get to. The best example right now is that people have removed Newcastle assets. The reason being, apart from them being thrashed 5-1, but they've also they weren't having very good fixtures from 33 onwards after having like a double game week till the end of season. So, but if you see their fixtures now in 34, they are playing a bottom three side, and you would want three attackers or double defenders or whatever plus Isaac. So it can be played in any game week. You just need to decide on which game week you are playing. So it's 33 or 34 or even like early in the season. People played early in the season wanting to jump ranks and do it as well. So it's optional. You can play at any time. The last or the 8 point here is to not you cannot use the free hit with any other chip. This is relevant to any of the any of the FPL chips that you use, which means that you cannot combine free hit with say a triple captain or bench boost or assistant manager or a wild card as well. Now, this is a very critical point. How do you measure the value of free hit? In this case, you should think of, or a good way to think of it, it's obviously not the only way, but a good way to think of it is if your current team versus the team that you're trying to gain, or even with, say, multiple transfers or a hit, is being able to get you the kind of points that a free hit chip would give. Now, the reason when we spoke about we use a free hit in a double or a blank game week is because you're able to reach to players which you won't be able to otherwise, right? So typically a free hit chip gives you a 20-25 point green or a gap or upper gap because it is what you can reach with the kind of players you won't otherwise, and you sort of plan that with a stopgap nature, which means you play it for the week and you are out, which means if players have only one game week which they have like super like one green fixture difficulty rating and then like red or a yellow red, you kind of try to play with that game week.
Also, like why in blank game week 34 right now it becomes the perfect time to play it is most people played their wild card like 3-4 game weeks ago, right? And right now for most of the wild carders, like for example, I have 4 playing players. I have 7 people blanking. So the logic there becomes very easy because like a 25 point gain, for example, with 7 players should be doable. So yeah, like blank game week hence becomes very easy to play it, but like there are 2 more options if you want to wait.
Yeah, that's a great actually point on you have further options as well, like you have double gaming 36 and blank gaming 37. But yes, because if you the only people who would be playing that are if you have not yet played the wild card and your team is not sort of set up. So
Yeah.
that strategizing bit of when you play that is extremely close to or extremely critical versus combined with the wild card. So
If you're not
please,
playing it, you've been planning it since the last six, eight
absolutely,
weeks. Yeah. You can't be randomly in this situation.
that's true. And the final point is again, it cannot be reversed. So like we saw with bench boost, a lot of people tried that with bench boost, with triple captain, burn the chips. Once you activate, you can reverse it, but with free hit, you cannot reverse. So once you activate it, it's logged in. So for example, just before the stream, we were discussing Arslan is dead straight on choosing it. So he's already pressed it. I am also most 90% sure of doing it, but I'm still kind of looking at the players and matches, and I haven't. But a lot of people who have like 7 8 players, and this happened in blank game week 29 actually, till the very end I wasn't sure of using it. Like I was on in a boat which was 50-50 where I could actually end it up. So if you aren't certain and if you have like 7 8 players and you still think that hey, I can do like a couple of transfers and get to 10 11 and match the other teams, you can hold your horses and don't need to play it till the time
Agreed.
you actually want to.
Agreed. A good segue to the top 10 free hit chip tips that we think you should definitely look into for maximum impact and like how to optimize this chip. Which the first uh, the first point for that is connected to what we talked about previously, which is like target a 25 pointer difference between your X team as well. So to target like to have that mindset, I think number one you should target high XG teams versus playing against high XGC teams, which basically means teams playing better attacks playing worse defenses. And so for that, let's quickly look into some of the fixtures that we have in this playing game week 34. And there are like some really juicy fixtures out there that completely follow this philosophy of high XG versus high XGC. So I've highlighted these. The ones in red are play teams playing. All of them are surprisingly playing home. So Wolves at home is a high XG team versus Leicester away is the worst XGC team. So it becomes a very good matchup. And similarly, Newcastle against Ipswich, I think, is a really good one. Um, Liverpool, Tottenham, Bournemouth, and United. Although it seems weird, but Bournemouth at home versus United away, the difference between their XG and XGC is pretty high. So these are the ones that popped on to me. Puneet, what do you think? Which fixtures do you think are the ones to sort of target when looking at high XG versus XGC teams?
Firstly, I mean, this is an excellent or a way to analyze how you should target your free hit teams, right? Like you, I think this is one of a very good charts and great job doing this, Arslan. And these are the kind of insights we always look to deliver. So if you are still with us and you're liking something like a chart like this, an analysis, please do support us, and we would love to reach 100 followers by the end of the season. And important, I think, to your question, I think I'll quickly straight away look at the three bottom squads. So Leicester, Ipswich, and Southampton, although are playing at home, but they are playing Fulham. So these three would be my first sort of where my eyes would go.
No,
The
actually, like
second,
Leicester, Ipswich, and Southampton. Leicester and Ipswich are playing away, and Southampton is playing home.
correct, yeah, yeah. So
Yeah,
although
yeah, yeah,
Southampton is playing at home, I would still target them is where I was trying to make that point.
yeah. 100%.
And and then I think the West Ham fixture looks like really plumb with Brighton and Liverpool. Tottenham have zero weight now in playing the league, same as United. Like United played a second squad today against Wolves, even at home. So teams like these who are already on the beach and who have Europa to or like even Europe to focus on, those are your fixtures. So I think Wolves, Leicester, Newcastle, Ipswich definitely, Liverpool, Tottenham, Bournemouth, United, plum fixtures to target.
Yep. Um, yeah. Number two, activate free hit early for price gains. So as we discussed, like if you've decided that you need to do free hit, like you have five, six or more blankers, just hit it so that you can make use of the price rises. For example, Barnes rose in price today. There would be more coming in the following days. So look at the price tickers, see what players are increasing or decreasing. If any of the players you are looking to buy, just buy them earlier and get the price changes. Number three, pick explosive, high-scoring players. So as we discussed the fixtures, there are like plenty of high-scoring players capable of 15 plus hauls. So in Wolves, you have um, again Cunha and Strand Larson. Um, Newcastle has been scoring like right and left everywhere. Everyone apart from Isak is scoring. So go for Murphy and Barnes maybe, and Isak obviously everyone will have him. Liverpool, Salah, Luis Diaz, and for Bournemouth, Evan Nielsen and Clivert, I think, and even Semenyo, honestly. So plenty of high scoring players to pick from, and yeah, number four include three differential points. Um, yeah, at least three, I would say. No ownership players, and honestly, Puneet, like I think we were discussing in the chat as well, like there's so many good fixtures, and so I think the variance this week, even with free hitters, would be very high.
Yeah, I mean, great point because I think fourth, the differential punt points is very important. Like free hit allows you to do that. Otherwise, in your own team, you would want fixtures or players who are, I won't say are not less owned, but at least players who you are looking at a long duration. So with a free hit, you can, like we were talking about Southampton and Fulham, like an Iwobi or a Robinson might be highly owned, but a Sessegnon who started playing
Yeah,
in midfield. So players like these are definitely someone who you can target as punts and who you otherwise wouldn't. Like even Harvey Barnes, I don't think he's on more than 10%.
yeah,
So these are
and
differential punts.
I was looking at Cunha versus Strand Larson numbers, and everyone would have Cunha, but
Hmm.
Strand Larson, since Cunha has been back, has had a better expected points than Cunha. I was
Wow.
very shocked to look at this number, but it's obviously a very small sample size because Cunha was out for a long time.
Yeah, so that's something which I mean, look at the data and definitely sort of take punts on like the Larsons and Sessegnon of the world. The next one is having at least two playing substitutes. So this season, and Arslan mentioned this point at the start of the pod as well, that there are people don't have budget issues, especially because Haaland's injured. So your a lot of the budget is out, and you have like Salah only to sort of choose from in your squad. Palmer, people may have him, may not have him. He's not in the first 11 at least, is what we are seeing. So having couple of substitutes who you know are definitely going to play and are going to play 90 minutes, keep them on the bench. So like keep your 11 strong, like the strongest 11 that you can put first, and then your next objective should be having at least two budget or two people who play on the bench and who would get you at least 70, 80 plus minutes and who have a good chance of scoring, because last minute changes, last minute injuries are just a very common occurrence. The second one is using your budget enabler, or the sixth one is using your budget enabler smartly. This ties down to the fourth point that we discussed before, is the fact that, say, for example, you're observing in Chelsea, say you want someone from a Chelsea bench because you think that, so between Palmer and Enzo, you would ideally want Palmer because because one, you know that he's on pens and who's, but if you see Palmer's points and Enzo's points, and I think Enzo gave an assist today as well in the game, so Enzo has started doing much better. So see if you can pick an Enzo and it allows you to go Salah and Diaz both, right? If a team sort of, because Salah is around 13 and then Diaz is close to 8, maybe it allows you to do both
Mm,
and you are able to attack Liverpool. Just as an example.
yeah.
So things like that. And then again, Sessegnon versus Robinson. I think Sessegnon is 4.1 or 4.2 and Robinson is close to 5. So these are your budget and using how can you sort of use a budget enabler, which kind of allows you to pick better assets. And one of the other points is maximizing the starting 11s and minimizing the bench. This again is something that you have to structure. So you have to target the first 11 of best players, no matter the budget. So go in full in to your, because you know, fifth, if you read the fifth and the sixth point, the having two substitutes means your third can be an Agbado from Wolves, which you know you're never going to use. It's the worst case scenario. Maybe it's like a 4 million player on your bench, and so hence get every iota of your budget into the first level, and then sort of start thinking from how, hey, how can I sort of maximize if I have one or two injuries or last minute uh, injuries during warm up and all that, so that at least one or two bench. So that's point number 7 for you.
One more thing, like we've been discussing a lot of stats and fixtures. We will be doing a game week 34 free hit specific. We'll be doing our drafts, Puneet, me, and SN, on probably Wednesday. So we will discuss players and picks from each of these teams a lot in in a lot more detail in the next couple of days.
One of the important points are to pick players with motivation, and you can see that already. I think we discussed that during the fixtures. Even when Arslan showed that chart, it is clear that, say, the likes of Bournemouth v United, exactly, great segue. Wolves versus Leicester, Newcastle v Ipswich. Newcastle have a straight battle for top four going on. Bournemouth have an opportunity to get into Europe. United don't. Manchester United only have Europa. Liverpool have, again, Liverpool are going for the title. If they win that, they will get the title on that day itself, even before.
Yeah, this is the title winning game potentially. So it's I think it's gonna be pretty high scoring game, but let's see.
Exactly, yeah. So that's your motivation. So to hence this chart and hence this analysis why Arslan is like super key and super important, where you can see that the likes of Tottenham, United, Ipswich, Leicester, your usual suspects as well, apart from the bottom three teams can be targeted, and the reason being because their opponents like Newcastle, Liverpool have such high motivation to go ahead, even Bournemouth.
And they're all playing away. All these teams are playing away.
Yeah.
Leicester, Ipswich, United, Tottenham, bloodbaths.
Hopefully, yeah. So see, that's the point. Like if like Arsalan mentioned, if it is a bloodbath and you have like multiple assets and they both go double digit, you can easily cross 90 or 100, and people do get 100 points as well. Yeah. planning several gaming side. This is like an idea for your entire FPL sort of strategy. And again, we Arslan and SN have done a video on the overall strategy as well. But one of the important point is planning for this. Like if you had planned for um, free hit in 29 or 34, you could see that if you didn't play in 29, you were constantly trying to get your team focused between 31 to 38 so that you can play a free hit in 34. So that's the kind of planning that goes on. And you can imagine people were planning this from 25, 26, 27, so that, even as the newer fixtures came in, you could plan it. So, and one of the tools that we use quite consistently is FPL.team. Arslan, in fact, you found out another tool which you sort of were using or you could use for planning your game weeks. But yeah, definitely use these tools. Make sure you see which players are projected to score higher, look at the probability, and then go ahead.
Yep. And I think last is one of the most important, like psychology wise. See, we discussed a lot of tips and a lot of rules here which you can use to optimize your teams, right? For example, high XG versus high XGC. Like you can use, obviously, you have your own formula of how to win, right? This rule says include 3 differential points. You could go with 6 or you could go with 2, but you whatever variables you consider before making a decision, you can only control the decision and not the outcome. So own the decisions, and then yeah, you can't control the outcome, so just have fun with the chip. I think that's all I'll say. There's like a lot of options you can choose, and one pick, like two picks could be 50-50, like Murphy versus Barnes, for example, right? Acuna versus Strand Larson. All these picks, one would go well, one would not, both could go well. You don't control that. It's up to luck because it's just 1 week. So just have fun. Any closing thoughts, Puneet?
Oh, I think just have fun is the right way to close because I think you should play the game for having fun. It is not just a analysis or a data or a luck game. It is luck, data, fun, and you are watching football. So have fun, own your free hit, own your decisions, and yeah, hoping
Yeah.
for a lot of greens for you.
All right. Yeah. That's all from us today. If you like the video, please drop a like and please subscribe us. We are a very small channel and we do support. We do like the support. Obviously, we spend a lot of time giving this out for you. So yeah, we'll see you in I think 3 days with Game Week 34 free hit drafts, and we'll have our picks from each of the top teams that we think you should work towards. See you next week.